January 1976, Kingsmill Massacre. January 1976 saw Blondie release their debut single Ex-Offender with the lyrics of the song containing a line that says, "Walking the line, you were a marksman." Unfortunately, this lyric resonates with what was going on in the conflict in Northern Ireland, with an increasing number of shootings following the end of the IRA truce. Political developments in January 1976. In January 1976, the National Liberation Army announced its existence in a press release published in the IRSP newspaper, The Starry Plough. The National Liberation Army was recently formed with the aim of ending British imperialist rule in Ireland and creating a 32-county democratic socialist republic. As revolutionaries, we recognise the paramount necessity for the existence of an armed anti-imperialist organisation which will play an effective role in the current struggle. After 5 years of struggle against imperialism, the Irish people have victory within their grasp. We see it as our task as revolutionaries that they are not deprived of victory through the acceptance of any compromise solution negotiated without reference to the long-term interests of the Irish working class. On the 7th of January, a unit of the SAS was moved into the South Armagh area in response to demands for a tougher security response. This was the first occasion when the deployment of SAS troops was officially acknowledged. Secretary of State for Northern Ireland. Merlin Rees gave a speech to the House of Commons on the Convention report on the 12th of January. He announced that the Constitutional Convention was to be reconvened from the 3rd of February for 4 weeks. British Prime Minister Harold Wilson stated that a united Ireland was not a solution which any British political party would wish to impose on the region. The 12th also saw the trial of members of the Maguire family, known as the Maguire Seven, begin at the Old Bailey in London. They were arrested on the 3rd of December 1974 and on trial accused of possession of explosives. The case was linked to that of the Guildford Four and the making of the bombs used in the explosions in Guildford on the 5th of October 1974. As security concerns increased, Harold Wilson held an all-party meeting at Downing Street, London on the 15th of January to consider the security situation in Northern Ireland. The topic of housing came up in January 75, when government figures showed that 25,000 houses had been damaged in violence related to the conflict. This coincided with SDLP leader Gerry Fitt telling members of Parliament that some tenants' associations in Belfast were under the control of various paramilitary groups. Friday, the 23rd of January, saw the IRA truce officially brought to an end. It's reported that indirect contact between the British government and the IRA was maintained for a period after the ending of the truce. Shootings, beatings and stabbings in January 1976. January 4th. The UVF shot and killed 6 Catholic civilians in County Armagh. UVF men broke into a Catholic-owned house in Whitecross and shot and killed brothers John Reevy, 24, Brian Reevy, 22, and Anthony Reevy, 17. About 20 minutes later, UVF men entered another Catholic-owned house in Ballydugan and shot and killed another 3 men, Barry O'Dowd, 24, Declan O'Dowd, 19, and Joseph O'Dowd, 61, all of whom were members of the SDLP. At least one officer of the Royal Ulster Constabulary's Special Patrol Group was involved in the attacks, which have been linked to the Glenanne gang. January 5th. Gunmen stopped a minibus carrying 11 Protestant workmen, lined them up alongside it and shot them. Only one victim survived, despite having been shot 18 times. A Catholic man on the minibus was allowed to go free. A group calling itself the South Armagh Republican Action Force, a cover for IRA members, claimed responsibility. Although the Kingsmill Massacre was in direct response to the killing of 6 Catholics the night before, the attack was planned before that. Those who died were John McConville, 20, Walter Chapman, 23, Reginald Chapman, 25, Joseph Lemon, 46, James McWhirter, 58, Kenneth Wharton, 24, Robert Chambers, 19, John Bryans, 46, Robert Freeburn, 50, and Robert Walker, 46. RUC officer Clifford Evans, 30, was shot and killed by an IRA sniper while on mobile patrol near Castle Dawson in County Londonderry. January 7th. Civilian Michael Dixon, 17, was found shot in an entry off Rockview Street in Belfast. It's reported that the IRA were responsible. January 10th. The UVF shot and killed Catholic civilian Edward McQuaid, 25, on the Cliftonville Road in Belfast. January 14th. Civilian Samuel Miller, 71, was beaten to death at his farm off Derrynoid Road near Draperstown in County Derry. His body found, on information supplied to the British authorities, in a disused quarry in Carmean near Moneymore, County Derry, on the 21st of September 1977. He was a witness to a robbery. January 17th. British soldier Mark Ashford, 19, was shot and killed in an IRA gun attack on a British checkpoint in Derry City. Catholic civilian Seamus O'Brien, 25, was found shot and killed by the IRA at the junction of Glen Road and Glenside Road in Andersonstown, Belfast. The IRA claimed he was an informer. January 22nd. Off-duty UDR soldier John Arrell, 32, was shot and killed while driving his firm's minibus home from work by an IRA sniper in Clawdy, County Londonderry. Catholic civilian Kieran McCann, 20, was shot and killed at his workplace in Eglish, near Dungannon, by the IRA as an alleged informer. The UVF shot and killed Protestant civilian John Morrow, 36, on Ballyutoag Road in Belfast. They believed he was a Catholic. The UDA shot and killed Catholic civilian Niall O'Neill, 27, at his home at Thirlmere Gardens in Belfast. January 24th. The UDA shot and killed Catholic civilian Patrick Quayle, 37, as he walked along Clifton Street in Belfast. The inquest was told he was shot after a perfectly chance encounter outside the Royal Air Force Club. January 25th. The UVF shot and killed Protestant civilian Samuel Neal, 29, as he walked along Union Street in Portadown. January 27th. Protestant civilians Andrew McGilton, 22, and Peter Armstrong, 22, were shot and killed during a gun attack on the Farmers' Inn in Dunmurry, near Belfast. The attack was carried out by Republican paramilitaries. January 29th. Civilian Joseph McAlinden, 44, was shot at his home on Upper Cave Hill Road in Belfast. Civilian Martin Crossan, 26, was shot during a gun and bomb attack on Brady's off-licence shop on the Antrim Road in Belfast. January 30th. UDA member Samuel Hollywood, 34, was stabbed to death outside the North Star Bar on North Queen Street in Belfast. The death was part of the UDA-UVF feud. January 31st. UDA members discovered a woman, Imelda Maxwell, who had been invited to their social club in Sandy Row, was Catholic. They attempted to beat her to death with bricks and clubs, leaving her unrecognisable to ambulance staff from the Royal Victoria Hospital where she worked. Maxwell suffered permanent brain damage and was no longer able to lead an independent existence. Civilian Hugh Woodside, 60, was shot during an altercation between a British Army patrol and local people in the Long Bar on the Shankle Road in Belfast. Bombings in January 1976. January 3rd. 23 people were injured, 4 seriously, when a bomb exploded at the Golden Hind Bar on West Street in Portadown. It's reported that the INLA were responsible. January 13th. IRA volunteers Rosemary Bleakley, 18, and Martin McDonough, 23, along with Catholic civilians Mary Dornan, 36, and Ian Gallagher, 41, were killed when the bomb they were transporting exploded prematurely on North Street in Belfast. January 17th. The UVF launched a no-warning bomb attack on Sheridan's Bar on the New Lodge Road in Belfast. Catholic civilians Sarah O'Dwyer, 47, and James Reed, 47, were killed and 26 wounded. January 22nd. RUC members George Bell, 54, and Neville Cummings, 37, were killed by a booby-trap bomb at the Donegal Pass, RUC base in Belfast. No group claimed responsibility. January 25th. The UDA bombed the Ancient Order of Hibernian Social Club on Conway Street in Lisbon, killing Catholic civilians Raymond Mays, 33, and John Tennyson, 27. January 29th. 12 small bombs exploded overnight in London, starting several fires and injuring one person. Police later found a 13th bomb that had failed to go off. January 30th. Civilian John Smiley, 55, was killed in an IRA bomb attack on the Klondike Bar, a pub reportedly frequented by paramilitaries in the loyalist Sandy Row area of Belfast. Thank you for listening to this episode of Tales of the Troubles. If you liked it, please like and share with like-minded people, as this helps me massively to reach new listeners. Stay tuned, click the follow button, and enable notifications so that you don't miss the next episode.